All right, guys, welcome back to another episode of the Filmoholic. We are doing happy hour today, and for the first time, I have Ethan on here with me. He's going to be coming in and sharing his thoughts. We may have a Bell pop in later on, may not. We'll see. But we have a good list of topics here for this week that we can discuss. I guess the first topic that we can discuss, I feel like the biggest one that's came out this week, is the Batman set photos that's came out, giving us the full new Batman look. We got a sneak of it the other day when Matt Reeves released like that teaser like little test footage, but we get to see actual like his whole suit. We get to see him on a motorcycle, filming I think two different scenes. There's a scene with him going down the road where he like crashes the bike, it looks like, and there's another scene at a graveyard. I like the suit for the most part. The only thing I don't really like about it is the eyes. I'm not sure what's going on. They're like bulgy. I think this is some kind of special suit that he's wearing. Maybe some sort of high-tech whatever he's got going on in his eyes. I honestly though, I do like those better than what was going on in that the test footage, because like I don't even know if there was anything like covering his eyes in the test footage. It kind of just looked like, I don't know, it looked weird. So we'll see. But either way, it could look differently when we actually see it in the film. I'm also wondering, because he doesn't have a cape in those photos. Yeah. Do you think it's going to be like a CGI cape?
I don't know if he'll have a cape to begin with. I think that's going to be something they progress with later on, honestly. I think right now that's kind of the outfit you're going to get.
The whole movie, you think?
For the most part, yeah. I'd be surprised if he like changes it up, because I think this supposed to be his second year as Batman.
Okay.
Is what I think. The last thing I read about it. I don't like the mask. I'm not a fan so far. Like when I saw it, I was like looking at him and it looked just like Ben Affleck, honestly.
I don't know if that was even Robert Pattinson filming either, or if that was like a stunt double. I kept trying to like look closely at that a lot of the photos, and it looked like I don't know, it didn't look like him to me, and the same kind of look that he had in the other ones.
Like face that I could see, it looked like Ben Affleck, so it might not have been him at all.
Yeah,
like I said, most of the other suit I was fine with, just not the mask, honestly. So I'm hoping he upgrades later on.
I'm thinking he probably will. I mean, looking at the earlier, looking at Batman Begins, which I feel like he upgrades slightly within Batman Begins, but he really gets that change after Batman Begins with The Dark Knight. But you said this is in the second year. Do you know anything about Year Zero, like the reboot of Batman in the comics?
No.
I think that's kind of what the angle on with. I think this kind of looks more like the Year Zero, and also kind of the Arkham games is the vibe I'm getting. But in Year Zero, it's kind of like a modern day retelling of like Batman Year One, but it's different. And the main villain in that is the Riddler, which we know is the main villain in this film as well. And he's associated with, I haven't read it. I've read up on it online, but it's Edward Nygma, and it's spelled differently than we know from the comics prior to this. But he's associated with Wayne Enterprises, and like I think he works there, something to do with the company. But I'm wondering if that's the direction they're going to go, and these other villains are just going to be like kind of just pieces in the film, but not really big parts. Maybe setting up a sequel. But also interesting because in Batman Year Zero, the Red Hood still plays a big part of it. And the Joker's not in it, but the Red Hood is. So I'm wondering if we might see that character in the film setting up Joker for a later film as well.
Jason Todd?
No, like, because originally Joker was Red Hood before Jason Todd took on the role of Red Hood. That was because Joker was originally called that.
The only one I'd seen that animated Batman movie under the Red Hood, but that's about all I know about that.
Because I had
is Year Zero like the picture comparison that's going around right now?
Yeah, I think so.
I could have done the suitless arms. Went full Mad Max apocalyptic style.
Yeah, when he has like it doesn't have crossbow and stuff too.
Yeah.
Some of the, and also like A Year Zero, I know is Court of Owls, which I have read that, at least part of it. Abel actually let me borrow his comic, and I read it, and it was pretty good. It's in the same new era Batman as Year Zero, but Year Zero is the start of that Batman's career. Court of Owls is, I don't know. It seems longer in comics than it actually is. So it's like a couple years later. Like Dick Grayson's already like Robin in that comic book series, but that's something they could set up down the line too. I can see with Pattinson's Batman is Court of Owls.
One thing I am excited. It seems like it's going to be in the same kind of tone as Batman versus Superman. Like just by the stuff he's wearing, like all the
high tech.
Yeah, like all the equipment, like it's going to be like a darker Batman than like the Christian Bale version.
I hope so. I like that as far as the Ben Affleck Batman goes.
Yeah, that was the one thing that I liked, was it was actually like a darker Batman that didn't really hold back.
I am like a little surprised with how minimal some of the stuff is. Like the fact that he doesn't have the cape to start off. The bat suit does look a little more basic to me than we've had in the past. Even I know some people are calling this like the bat cycle, the bat motorcycle. It just looks like a regular motorcycle to me.
Yeah.
There's a big difference from, say, the Christian Bale version and his bat cycle. And I don't know. I heard some reports in the past that we were going to get some footage of the Batmobile. And I don't know if that ever happened. I don't think it did because I haven't seen any pictures online. I wonder if they're not going to have a Batmobile in this movie.
I don't know. I would think like that would be his more popular vehicle. I would have thought you would have started with that. But like I say, the only one we've seen now is, the test footage and then the stuff in the graveyard.
What did you think of that score?
I liked it.
I liked it a lot. Yeah.
I hope that's the actual like Batman score, rather than just something they're using.
Yeah, I liked it.
I know you're not like a huge fan of the composer, so
he's okay. I don't think he's bad necessarily. It's like I just feel like everybody's using him for everything, and I just want certain things to have their own like distinct style. Because I mean, look at all the. I feel like he's done a lot of comic book films. Maybe he hasn't. I know he did Spider-Man. He did Rogue One.
He's done a lot of stuff overall.
Yeah. I thought his Star Wars score for Rogue One was the most underwhelming of all the film scores. But I know they had somebody else hired too originally, and he came in at the last minute or something like that. So I don't know.
Yeah, I hope it's the one that keeps. Like for Batman's his score for his character.
I hope so. Seeing this footage too makes me I'm really interested in like what the other characters are going to look like in this universe.
Yeah, I'm more excited for Colin Farrell's character to see what he's going to look like, because I don't think it's going to be your average look.
I think they're going to do him right, because what I wanted to see with the Penguin is mainly just like a mobster type look.
You don't want the Danny DeVito again?
No.
Colin Farrell to gain the weight?
No, definitely not. I mean, he can gain some weight. I don't think the Penguin should be like, Adrian Brody's, something. But like, but I don't need, Danny DeVito or whatever have you. I know a lot of people in the past have just been suggesting people like Josh Gad just because of their size or how would have you, and I'm like, you don't need that. Jonah Hill, though, I think he could have done it and still been like slimmer. And I think it's still like just his features and his acting ability could have gave us a really cool Penguin. But I think he would have been good as Riddler too.
Do you think Robert Pattinson's going to bulk up any?
He has a little bit, hasn't he?
I mean, like more, like like he's not, that bulky as far as muscle mass. It doesn't look like it.
I don't think anymore in this movie. I think as the films, if they make a trilogy, I think he'll continue to get bigger with each film. But given that they're already filming, I don't think he's going to get much bigger. I wouldn't think so within this film.
But I know that was a lot of the complaints I'd been seeing about him as Batman was not like the look, but as far as like his muscles, like people didn't think he'd be a very convincing Batman.
Yeah. I mean, it's still better than say Michael Keaton. I don't even know if he had any muscles.
Yeah. Him and Val Kilmer.
Just put the suit on.
Yeah.
George Clooney.
Oh, they're all bad. I'm not a fan of any of them.
It's the bad nipples. The next topic here is John Krasinski. He was recently interviewed about Fantastic Four, whether or not he was interested in playing Mr. Fantastic. I know there's a lot of fans out there, including myself, that want to see him play Mr. Fantastic, want to see Emily Blunt play Invisible Woman. I think he should also direct the film, but we'll see. And he was asked about it, and he said that, I think he said there wasn't any talks as of yet, but that he was interested and he wanted them to consider him, and he would love to do it. I think that's really cool. Do you think we're going to actually see him play Mr. Fantastic?
I'm hoping, because there's a lot of fan support for him and Emily Blunt. Like I say, Quiet Place definitely kicked off his directing career. Because that was definitely a surprise here. I got tired of seeing the trailer. I didn't even want to see the movie, and it ended up being one of my favorites of the year. So I mean, I'm hoping him and Emily Blunt are a lock.
I hope so. I mean, they've also both been in the Marvel discussion in the past. I mean, he was one of the front runners. I think I know he was auditioned for it. I think he was one of the front runners to play Captain America originally, and Emily Blunt was, I think, set to play Black Widow, and then backed out before Scarlett Johansson took over. So it'd be cool to actually see them come back and play a different character in the MCU.
Yeah, she's already got a relationship with Disney with Mary Poppins. So
true.
Anything else will work out.
I do wonder though, because Quiet Place 2 comes out next month.
Yeah, middle next month.
So I mean, that could come out and be successful as much as the first one, at least somewhat as good. But it could come out and it could bomb, or it could be awful. So if that happens, I think that could affect things too. At least as far as him directing a Fantastic Four movie goes.
Yeah, I would still, no matter what that movie did, I'd still let him do it. Like, see, yeah. I don't know if I'm at the point where I'd let him write the movie. I don't know how much background he has with comics and how much of a fan he is. So I don't know if I'd let him just write it by himself. Yeah,
I think I would probably have him co-write it with somebody, or have somebody else write it entirely, and then have him direct it. But another comic book movie news we have here is, I believe it was Tom Hardy himself posted a picture on Instagram of Woody Harrelson as Carnage. And a lot of people were talking about it because it's different than the Carnage that we actually saw at the end of the first Venom, and the awful wig that Woody Harrelson was wearing. That's gone now. You can tell it's gone in this new photo, but you really can't. We were talking about this before we started. You really can't see much in the photo. It's kind of blurry. It's very dark. The only thing that I can see is that it's Woody Harrelson, his hair's shorter, but still red, and he's got a Hawaiian type shirt or something on.
Yeah, you can definitely tell Tom Hardy's a better actor than photographer, because that's a dark photo.
Let's hope that he took the photo and not a cinematographer.
If he was wearing a different shirt besides the Hawaiian orange, you couldn't even have known who it was. That was the only light part of the picture.
But I'm interested because I tried to go on Tom Hardy's Instagram after that, and I didn't see the photo.
I can't remember. I know he was the one that released it. I can't remember what social media, or if he was just responsible for putting the picture out there somewhere.
Yeah.
Or taking it, maybe, is what they meant by him being responsible for it.
Okay. Well, I like the photo overall. I'm excited for him to play Carnage. I'm excited to actually see Venom 2 because I like the first one. I had fun with it.
Yeah, well,
It was.
awful screenplay.
I
And
don't.
I know you've seen both of Andy Serkis's movies. I've only seen one, and
I completely forgot Andy Serkis was even directing.
uh, Mowgli wasn't for me. I didn't watch. Was it Breathe? Was his other
Breathe.
one?
Breathe was really good.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mowgli gives me no inspiration right now.
but Mowgli sucked. And Mowgli is probably I don't know. I don't want to say it's a better indicator of what he's going to do with this film because that would be negative. But I mean, that's more a heavy CGI film, more action than say Breathe, which was a smaller, intimate film about mainly two actors in there. This is going to be heavy CGI, which he's good at. I don't necessarily know if that was the worst thing about Mowgli, although I didn't really love the CGI in that movie either. Kind of sometimes looked like PlayStation.
Well, I didn't mind the directing of Venom. So I
The
mean,
first one,
I wouldn't mind to see like was it Ruben Fleischer?
yeah.
Like I don't mind him as a director for like that kind of stuff.
Like, yeah, he was busy with Zombieland 2 for some reason.
You're absolutely right. He was busy. 10 years I waited for that movie. But it was the writing that was the worst part. So I mean, I don't know why you just wouldn't have brought him back. Like unless he just was too busy or didn't want to come back.
Well, they got a new writer, didn't they?
Oh, man, yeah, I hope so.
I want to say that there's a new writer or there was some sort of writing change. It's either a new writer or there was two writers in the first one and now only one of them's coming back, or maybe there's another writer in this one. There's some sort of writing change, so let's hope that adds to the screenplay on this one.
I'd bring in somebody who actually knew the characters because it seems like you wasted everybody except Tom Hardy.
Well, I'm also curious too. Well, for one thing, I'm a little bit worried about the movie because I feel like they're going to try to push in too many villains, and I also don't know if they know what they're trying to lead up to. Because obviously, with the first one, it was mainly about introducing Venom, introducing this version of Venom, and then teasing Carnage at the end because you want to do Carnage. So now you have the sequel, but I feel like you at least want to do a trilogy, or if not more, with this character because it's a franchise. So we know Carnage is in this film, but we also know Naomi Harris is playing that other villain. I'm forgetting her name. I'm forgetting her name at the moment. That villain's character, but it's like Carnage love interest.
Yeah. And Vulture. So I'm not.
Well, that was in Morbius. Do you think he's in this movie?
I don't know if I know he's in Morbius, but I'm wondering, how all this crossover is going to work.
Well, that's the other thing. It's like I don't know what they're trying to set up with Morbius. I don't know what their plan for Spider-Man is, because I've heard rumors in the past about this movie that he was going to pop in at some point in Venom 2 to like set up another Venom 3 that would have Venom and Spider-Man taking on Carnage, so that Carnage was like going to survive this film and come back in the next one to fight both Venom and Spider-Man.
That's what I don't know. Like, and I'm wondering. A lot of people saying online is that the Vulture scene in the Morbius trailer is just an after credit scene, which I really hope it's not. So that's what worries me about Sony having all this property. That just like DC, they don't think they have a plan.
Yeah, it's worrisome.
I think they saw all the money that Spider-Man made, and they want to capitalize on their other properties they have access to.
Oh, they've been trying to do that for years now too. I mean, even so, you go back to the Amazing Spider-Man. That's, I mean, aside from the awful writing, that was one of the problems with that Amazing Spider-Man 2 was they kept trying. It was just to set up Sinister Six.
Still don't have it.
Nah, still didn't. And honestly, as much as I didn't want it back then, that Sinister Six movie probably would have been good. Was it Drew Goddard who was going to do it?
Yeah. I know you're not a huge fan of Drew Goddard.
I wasn't until I saw Bad Times. I liked it. I liked what he did with that. It made me curious to see what he would actually do with the Sinister Six film.
But he's doing X-Force. Is he still attached?
I don't think that movie's happening.
I don't know. I thought he was still attached. I hope not.
I think he still is, but
Do something else.
as far as IMDb goes, but I don't even know if they're making an X-Force movie. They're making some kind of Deadpool movie now that Disney has Fox, but I think it's going to be more of a Deadpool 3 with him with other MCU characters, I think.
I could do without that too.
Yeah, I'm not interested in that, but I think that's what we're going to end up getting.
I don't know. I don't know about it because, like I say, you got Josh Brolin as Thanos, so I don't know if you really want to bring him back now that Disney owns.
I don't think, and I don't know what their plan is as far as Disney goes, but I don't want to ever see Deadpool officially in the MCU anyways.
No.
Like, I'm fine with them having MCU. Oh my God. Too many beers. I'm fine with them having MCU characters pop up in a Deadpool movie, like how X-Men characters could pop up in the other Deadpool films, but I don't want to see him actually like in an MCU film. I
don't think it'll work.
Part of the narrative.
Because, like I say, like he said that if there's a Deadpool 3, that it's going to have an R rating. Which
I think it will.
You get that past Disney, past their rules. But like I say, if that would work if you have other characters come into his world, but I don't know how you bring him into theirs with like the breaking the fourth wall and everything, like him knowing that he's just a character.
I don't think it can. I don't think
that comedy won't work within the MCU.
No, I don't. There's certain films that you could do it. Maybe Guardians, but I still feel like it would take me out of the movies having that in there.
Like I don't want that.
All right, the next topic here is, and this is a television topic, but this could be a cool show, or it could be just kind of bad. It's called Hollywood. Comes out May 1st, and it's created by Ryan Murphy, who has in the past done things like American Horror Story, which I know him most from. Also a show called The Politician, Glee. You said he wrote Eat, Pray, Love.
Yeah,
directed it. So I think the show is about these young people after World War II trying to make it in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Do you have any interest in it?
That's what I sent it to you. What worries me is I've just started hearing about it last week. So, like Netflix, no trailer yet. So just have the poster, which I don't know. It's just I haven't watched any of his stuff, so I can't really say if he's good or bad.
I think that I heard the announcement that he was going to do it sometime last year, but I thought it was a movie. I think when I first heard that he was going to do it. So, but it's a miniseries. It's not going to be. As of right now, it's a miniseries. Who knows? Maybe it'll end up becoming an anthology series like American Horror Story and take place during different decades in Hollywood. That'd be kind of cool, actually. But I don't know. Like,
it being a series is what worries me.
The limited series.
Yeah, because how are you going to develop characters like that in that kind of era? Because I'm guessing it's take place late 40s, early 50s, if you're talking about post-World War II.
Yeah.
And at that point, I don't know. You could have a lot of stuff you could do, but it seems like it's going to be a comedy more than like serious. Like from the vibes I get from like most of his work already, and then the poster.
I don't think it's gonna be a straight comedy, but I do think it's gonna be a lot in a line with a lot of his other work, which I've seen most of the seasons of American Horror Story. The only ones that I haven't seen are season 4 and season 4 is the only season I haven't watched any of, and I've watched parts of season 2 and 5, but couldn't get through them. All the other seasons I've watched all the way through, and there's some seasons I really like. There's other seasons that are kind of just I watched it. Would never watch it again. But a lot of his stuff, the writing's not that great, to be honest. There's some really cool ideas, but I feel like the writing team doesn't really like flesh them out like they should. And I'm kind of worried about that with this show too. Like the last season of American Horror Story 1984 had some really good setups in there, but the season just like drug on and ultimately was just kind of lackluster by the end of it. And there's also like in all of his stuff that I've seen is just a lot of sex scenes for no reason. I don't know. I feel like this will probably be the same, but we'll see. I will watch it at least one episode to see how it is, especially with it being in Hollywood. I am curious too, the filming of it, because I like stuff that's filmed in Hollywood and like seeing the locations. I wonder if like a lot of it actually is going to be like all location filming, or is it going to be a lot of stuff that looks like glossy 1940s?
I think it's going to be all just fake.
Yeah, probably so. That's
There's no way, like I say, they haven't pushed any kind of agenda for the show, so I don't see Netflix having much faith in it besides just having the name Ryan Murphy that people would notice from other shows.
Yeah,
and like I say, I think they really, American Horror Story. I guess they have the contract on Netflix. So I think that's their big push, is that people know that and Glee, and it's pretty popular.
I'm not that impressed with the cast either. I mean, there could be some surprises. Obviously, a lot of the cast members I don't know. There was a couple names that stood out. The lady or the girl from Spider-Man: Homecoming who played Liz Allen,
Yeah.
or Liz Toombs, I guess, in that version. She's in it, I think, as one of the leads. The dad from the first season of American Horror Story, Dylan McDermott, is in it. And I want to say there's somebody else who's in a guest starring role, it said, that's in it. But a lot of the people from his other stuff that I would have liked to have seen in it, like Emma Roberts, Billy Lord, they're not even in it. So
wasn't it mostly just like the Netflix family as far as the cast?
Maybe. I don't know.
That's another thing that worries me, is you're just getting people you already have a relationship with.
Well, that's what he does in all this stuff. American Horror Story, he just reuses those actors over and over, which I like some of them, like the ones I just mentioned, but there's other ones like Sarah Paulson, who's not bad in everything, and like some of the seasons I actually liked her in, but man, I was so glad that she wasn't in 1984. Like, I have to sit through another season of just her character crying.
Well, that's why I'm surprised, because she's worked with him, and then she has the relationship with Netflix from being in like Bird Box. So I'm surprised she wasn't. I know, like I say, I know she's might have been filming something, but I would have surprised he could have had her in a role somewhat.
I mean, we don't know. She could have a small role.
I mean, that would have been a bigger name that people would have cared about.
Yeah. I wonder who. I'm trying to figure out who that guest starring role was that I was talking about. Because definitely not any big names. Rob Reiner. I mean, he's not
I'd be interested
bringing people to tune in.
I mean, I like him as a director, but I mean, he hasn't done anything good in a while. Though.
No, he's probably going to be playing a producer or something too. I would assume.
Man.
In Hollywood.
Oh, Hollywood studio head, maybe.
That's what I'm thinking. The next topic is Eli Roth is signed on to direct a Borderlands film. What do you think about that?
I never played the games, and I don't think he's a great director. So it's not high on my list for whatever year it gets released.
It's not high on my list either. I did play the first game. I had the first game. It was not for me, although you would like it, because when I watched Mad Max, that's all I could think about. It's like, that's what it is. It's those weirdos from Mad Max that run around and do shit. Like, that's pretty much what I remember Borderlands being. But I never played any of the sequels, and that was years ago, like when I was in high school. it's interesting to pick Eli Roth because I don't think he's a great director either. But he always like makes these like really um, gory, not very good horror films, right?
And that's all he does is he's just a gore director.
Yeah.
So I mean, I like I said, I haven't played the game, so I don't know how much that is. But I would rather, if you're gonna get a video game adaptation, I'd rather give him like a Resident Evil.
I mean,
Like if you like
I
that,
don't even.
like story you could reboot with, his kind of genre that he could excel at.
That would make more sense than this. I mean, I could kind of see him doing a film in the Borderlands style, but the fact that he actually is making a Borderlands movie doesn't make much sense to me because I feel like if you got that name, you would want to sell a lot. Like you're doing it to make money, so I don't know why you're picking a director like that to make like a movie that you would want to potentially be a blockbuster.
Yeah, I don't know.
Because he just hasn't done anything like that in the past, and I don't see him changing now. I think this is definitely going to be rated R. It's going to be his style, and it's probably going to fail. Is what I would say.
They keep making video games that just aren't popular anymore.
Yeah, like Borderlands was popular, like what, 8 years ago?
Yeah, and then so you had a couple sequels for the games, but like, why not make something like Grand Theft Auto?
That
Like
has been popular
20 years and still is consistently strong with multiple audiences that has so many storylines you could do. I'm rooting for Vice City all the way. The 80s vibe, it had a great story in the game. Get Nicholas Winding Refn to come in and direct it. And I'm there opening night.
That would be incredible. Tom Cruise as Tommy Vercetti.
Yeah, I'm there opening night. Without a doubt. Popcorn, large drink, writing.
Jamie Foxx is the other guy from Vice City. Was it Lance Vance? That was his name?
Lance Vance, yeah. And then you had, you could get Jonah Hill as the villain. The one like the big house in Malibu.
Yeah. This was it Sonny? Was that his name?
Yeah. Or no, the main character was, I can't remember. I don't care. That's the cast and director. Whenever this video gets posted, I'm keeping an eye out for news because I'm suing everybody for my.
It sucks that Burt Reynolds died. Can't have him coming in and playing that.
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah, you put Sam Elliott in, I guess, instead.
Yeah, just do it. See, movies make themselves. Let's do Borderlands though.
Well, I mean, you could make so many Grand Theft Auto movies too. Like, there's so many. Like, you could make that, and if that's successful, I mean, look at all the other San Andreas that has a storyline. You could do two. There was a prequel they ended up making to Vice City, and even with the Grand Theft Auto name, you could take that spirit of the game and come up with an original story if you wanted to. I would rather see that Vice City one, like you said, but if they wanted to, they could make an original one or take the storyline from Grand Theft Auto 5. I think that would work too.
Yeah, you could get Grand Theft Auto 5 reminded me a lot. Like you could get Michael Mann to come in direct because it reminded me of Heat.
Yeah.
So not even a movie. You could just do television shows. Like I say, you're talking about the anthology series. Like each season could be a different episode of video games.
That would be very good. Yeah.
But I'm just spitting out ideas for studios.
There's also Call of Duty, which I'm not a huge fan of right now anymore. But I don't understand why there's not a Call of Duty movie. That seems like an instant seller.
I guess the only thing is because it's a war movie. Like people want more of a real story.
Well, Michael Bay's been attached to a Call of Duty movie too for years, and it's like,
yeah, I can't imagine why it's not getting made.
Well, I mean, look at the Modern Warfare, in that storyline in Call of Duty, and Michael Bay doing it. I'm not saying it'd be good, but I think it would sell a lot of tickets.
I'm sure the Michael Bay name would sell. Like I say, but that's another thing you could just put on Netflix.
Yeah.
He just had that one movie, 6 Underground, which was terrible. Come out on Netflix, just completely awful. But like I say, it's the same thing. Like you're picking a property that I can't imagine anybody cares about anymore.
With Call of Duty?
With Borderlands.
Oh, Borderlands. Yeah.
All this stuff like this popular, nobody cares. So I don't know. Maybe that's why you're doing it. You might have got the access cheap. Like you're like, all right, maybe we can recoup
I guess.
if we get attached.
You're gonna see a Saints Row movie before you see a Grand Theft Auto one.
I will just kill somebody.
Man, they ran that franchise to the ground.
If anything, just give me Vice City. Nothing else. I don't have to have 5 San Andreas. Just give me Vice City.
So our next topic here, let's move on to Trump. Trump has came out. If you didn't know this, our president is actually he's a film.
He's a filmaholic.
Yeah, he's a filmaholic. He knows all about film. He must have went to school for it as well.
Might have been when he dodged the draft for like the 4th time.
Yeah,
film degree.
He took a course at Trump University.
Yeah.
So he came out. He did not like Parasite.
Well, he never said
that.
Said,
first of all, yeah, he was like, what did he say exactly?
He was like, he was like talking about the South Korean movie One. And he's like, is it a good film? He's like, I don't know. So I mean, I don't know how you talk about something you don't know.
Right.
I can't imagine anybody there watched Parasite.
I don't think a single fucking person in that whatever rally saw that film.
And I just don't understand your logic either. You seemingly, I'm gonna give you benefit of the doubt that you watched Parasite. You're comparing it to Gone with the Wind and Sunset Boulevard, which I don't think Sunset Boulevard won Best Picture, so I don't see what you're.
I don't think he knows anything about the Oscars, and
he called it foreign language film, which that was renamed. So
international film. No,
it's that one.
Well, it always makes me curious too. It's like, because when I first saw the article, I actually didn't know he mentioned Sunset Boulevard, which is surprising that he even knows of that movie. But I would be very surprised if he's watched Gone with the Wind. I haven't seen Gone with the Wind, but
I can sit through it.
It's 4 hours long. I can't imagine that he would have, be able to watch that.
I don't see what it matters. When is that going to get you elected again? Like, oh yeah, I didn't watch that. We like the same movies, so
the supporters will come out because they don't want to see foreign films take over the Oscars. They want to see, I don't know,
Joker.
I don't know if they much care about the Oscars in general.
Well, no, I guess he has a problem with Brad Pitt now as well.
Okay. Did he talk about Brad Pitt at the rally?
I called him like a little wise guy, but I don't understand. I don't really care about their history anyway. But I don't know where that came from, like what he did to make Trump pissed off.
Well, at the Oscars, he made that comment because Trump's son, one of them, made a comment that calling him a smug elitist.
Oh yeah.
And it's so funny, like hearing him call someone a smug elitist. Like, dude, you were born like rich. Your dad was born rich. Like, how are you coming up with this logic?
What does it matter though?
And
in the scheme of your campaign, I don't understand what this has to do with anything.
It's just about getting their people up and going, getting people mad because their campaign's about hatred, and they say this stuff and people they get mad at the rally and then they're mad for the rest of the rally, and that's their goal, to make make people mad about other issues.
What do you want to win Best Picture though? Like
doesn't matter.
Like out of what was nominated, I can't imagine what your choice would have been. Like at the top of the list, I'm guessing is Ford versus Ferrari, which cool. But everything else is just like, no, I don't. Those are terrible movies. So.
I don't even know if they would have liked Ford versus Ferrari.
American company.
He probably would have wanted Richard Jewell to win until today, and he found out that
not anymore.
I wish that he would have said that. Oh, Richard Jewell should have been nominated for Best Picture and won.
And then was snubbed. And
And then this came out today. I take it back.
yeah, just kidding. Clint Eastwood's the parasite.
There's going to be a tweet coming out soon about Clint Eastwood, I'm sure.
Yeah, I'm ready for it. I don't know. I mean, there could be already. I haven't.
I don't know.
Follow on Twitter, so
I don't either.
you got me there.
And the last topic we're going to talk about in Happy Hour here is the news. They have announced that J.D. Dillard is going to be directing a Star Wars film. J.D. Dillard directed Slight. If you haven't heard of that film, it's not surprising. It was a small film that came out a couple years ago, and no one watched it. So I'm assuming you didn't. I don't think you watched it either, right?
I haven't watched anything from this person. Didn't even know who he was until the news got released, and I looked him up. And yeah, never heard of him or his movies. So
I just
not excited.
I'm not excited at all. I saw the article on Facebook from, I think it was Rotten Tomatoes, that I saw share it, and I reshared it and said, okay, like, what am I supposed to take with this news? I don't know anything about what the film is. I don't even know what their plan is moving forward. The last we heard was, we heard the Game of Thrones guys were making a trilogy, which, they ended up leaving. But that trilogy was supposed to be about, like, Old Republic, maybe?
In that era.
We also know Rian Johnson was still attached to a trilogy. We don't know what's ever going to happen with that. I don't think that'll ever happen.
I think it's definitely done after the news of the Knives Out sequel getting greenlit.
Absolutely.
Because that's what, 2-3 years away. So you're talking another 7 for his first Star Wars movie? No, not happening.
And then there was that news that came out like sometime last year that there was some lady who was writing a trilogy for the Old Republic video game to be adapted, which I don't think that was ever real in the first place. I think that was some kind of just a fake story that got out there because we haven't heard any more about that. And then, after the Game of Thrones guys were fired, quit, what have you, then we got the news the rumor news, this was going to be set in the High Republic era. It was based, I think it was 450 years, something like that, before Phantom Menace. It's going to have a younger Yoda in it. Is this that film? Or is this, what is this,
After looking at his IMDb, the 2 movies, like you said, Slight, and there was another one with a girl from Dope. I can't remember her name.
Clemens?
Yeah. After seeing who he's worked with and everything, I think at best your chances this would be a solo kind of spin-off about a Lando movie.
But see, that would surprise me at this point because they've shied away from the anthology films, the Star Wars stories. They said they pretty much said they're not going to make any more of those.
And I'm just I don't know. I know they said in the past, but I wonder is this going to be a straight to Disney Plus movie?
That would be very interesting.
I can't put much faith in this director.
If that was the case and it was a Lando movie, I'd be more supportive of that than hearing him directing whatever film and it going to theaters. Because it's just after all the stuff that we've seen with Star Wars on the big screen, that's the next film you're going to give us? It doesn't really make sense to me. And we heard the rumor going on for so long about Taika directing a Star Wars film.
Yeah, that'll be years from now if that happens.
Which, right, because, he has Thor coming out in 2021. So I don't see how at all Taika would fit that 2022 release date. This makes more sense to hit that 2022 release date, whatever he's making. But just seems a weird choice, especially if it's the High Republic era stuff to pick this director. I don't know if he I don't think he's made anything that gives me the faith that he could do that.
No, I've never watched this, so he might be a fantastic director. But like you said, nobody knows who he is, and if it's the High Republic, that's an era we've never been to, so you don't have the connection already. Like I said, at this point, I would rather it be the Lando movie straight to Disney Plus, because at that point, what have you got to lose?
If it's that, I'm all for it. But I think with whatever next big Star Wars film on the big screen we get, we need an established director like a Taika Waititi to make sure that this is going to be a solid film, and also to bring people in to watch it, especially if it's obviously is going to be in a new era with new characters that we haven't seen before, for the most part.
And I don't think you're going to get Taika for a while, because like you got the Thor, Love and Thunder, and then after that, he was wanting to do the live action Akira movie.
Yeah, but I could see the Star Wars
might be pushed off. He said because of the war. So I mean, you might, but like I say, at most, like it's 2020 now, so you're looking at 2024.
Which that would be the second film in that Star Wars trilogy. But I don't think there's any way that you get this guy to direct the first film and Taika directs the second.
No, you can't.
That would be.
I think you would make a huge mistake not giving Taika his own trilogy.
Yeah. I mean, I would like to see that. But also, if you're having if you're making this new era Star Wars films and you're having a first one, I feel like that director needs to set the tone for the trilogy too. And I don't feel like Taika should come in second. Not at this point in his career, after he's already given us Ragnarok, Jojo Rabbit, what have you. Like, I would like to see him start something, at least.
And
if not direct the whole trilogy.
I don't see it being this. I'd rather, if Taika's going to come in, I'd rather him do just one movie or an entire trilogy and direct every one of them.
What if they announced this was going to be? And I really don't know, because we've been told they're not going to do these anthology films anymore. But what if we got the news that this was a Crimson Dawn film, or maybe that Mos Eisley film that they were talking about at one point?
Is Crimson Dawn, just bring Ron Howard back at that point? Like I didn't have.
I don't think I would like to see that, but I don't know if they would do it.
Like I haven't heard him, doing anything coming up. So like I say, you've already has.
Vinci Code.
Just hey, I mean, he did a good job when he came in. The short amount of time he had to do. So like I say, I don't think you're getting a Crimson Dawn movie ever.
I don't think so either. I think that we should get that as a show. I think it's a mini series of that would be good. I think what would be cool too, which I would like to see a mini series of that, which then ends with Maul going off to where he is when we find him in Rebels, and Kira going off her own way, which then could lead into another show that could be that Mos Eisley show, which could serve as a continuation for Kira's character after the Crimson Dawn show, but also bring Solo back and kind of continue Alden Ehrenreich's character where we left off, show the Jabba stuff, show his interaction with maybe Boba Fett, give us some stuff there, and officially conclude his storyline with Kira.
Yeah, something else, but not this director for not that story.
Yeah.
Not enough faith. I mean, maybe if I watched the two movies I saw, maybe my opinion would change, but I doubt it. Like this, they're leaning too much like DC as far as not having a plan.
Yeah, it's really worried me with especially with their films. Which, I mean, I was getting really excited before with their shows, but now we have the Obi-Wan trouble and whatever happens happening with other shows. I feel like the only person over there that has a clue at this point is Jon Favreau and Mandalorian.
But besides that, it's it's just you announce something and then you pull it back and then announce 2 or 3 other things and you just don't hear about it for months.
Or it just fades away. It's don't ever talk about it again.
I'll forget about that.
Look at DC with all the stuff they announce, and half of that stuff they don't ever mention again.
No, I just not right now. I'm not excited for that movie at all. And like you said, if he does do the Howard Poet movie and then you bring in Taika, you're gonna get the same thing you got with this the last trilogy of the Star Wars saga.
where the tones are all over the place,
All
and
over the
stories.
Like I say, I really enjoyed The Last Jedi. Have my problems with Force Awakens, but I like it a lot. Rise of Skywalker was fan service all the way through. But you have two different directors, and even the two movies that J.J. Abrams did, you would never know that it was the same director.
No, because I don't feel like, I don't know. Rise of Skywalker was just a mess to me. From everything, it just felt.
Just undoing everything else in The Last Jedi, you were just like, man, we got to make these people happy, or we're losing these fans left and right. Like whatever they said they wanted, put it in the movie. Except for Rose, she's getting cut. Like that's what Rian Johnson gets.
Well, also except for Hayden Christensen, they hate him or something.
Nobody cares. We're done with that guy.
Just not bringing it back. Can't even bring it back as a Force Ghost.
Nope.
You McGregor either. They're like, I guess we'll give you a show because people keep asking, but you're not coming back as a Force Ghost.
Well, now you're not getting the show.
Now you're not getting the show either. We're not feeling it. We changed our minds.
Like, look, we already released the movie. Didn't do that bad as far as box office, but you're not getting your own show. That's why we told people what was happening to bring them out.
Just yeah. Anyways, that's our episode of Happy Hour, guys, and we'll see you next time.